Hello and welcome back to Speed Demon Painting. Today is a quick video because an update dropped for the Commonwealth. Their order of battle was updated just a few days ago, and I thought I would go over this. This isn't exactly a deep dive video, I'm just mostly going over the changes. If you want to see a more in-depth look, I refer to my video that I'll link in the description below. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future updates. As normal, when Warcradle does any updates to their ORBATs, they denote all of the changes that they've made in red. As you can see, this was updated on the 19th of May 2022, and the big updates are not necessarily in the different fleets that they have. These still remain the same, although one tiny change was made to the Caspian fleet and to the Icebreaker battle fleet. They've been changing a few words around, meaning for the bonuses to the Icebreaker battle fleet, now you have to have a maximum sight Morosco or a Katanga unit, and then all of the cryo generators in the battle fleet may reroll their die for determining the iceberg formation. For the Icebreaker battle fleet and for the Caspian battle fleet, they've made it so that you have to take at least one maximum sized Stolotov or Cineus unit, and then all of the Stolotovs and Cineus units, so even if you don't max them out, gain the high velocity quality to their rocket batteries and heavy rocket batteries. There was, however, so this is a buff, straight up buff to this Caspian battle fleet. However, as we'll later down the line see, there has been a change to the Cineus cruiser, which isn't really, synergizing that well with the new Caspian battle fleet, but more on that later. As we continue making our way through it, a new entry has been added to the outfitting yards, and that is the Nickel Escort Hovercraft. We're going to be seeing more releases that have different escorts in them. We've already seen a few of them with the new Sultanate boxes, and this is going to be an escort ship, which means these are the small ships that provide extra defense to your accompanying, most of the time, battleship. There's a few exceptions to this. It's not a skimming unit, but it has the skimming trait. I think the fact that the whole unit doesn't get the word skimming in it means that there's a few weird rules interactions. But these particular escorts do have the skimming trait, and that gives you the benefit that you can never be collided with. But more importantly, because that's always the case for escorts, more importantly, it cannot be targeted by weapons with the gunnery quality, unless it is effectively at point blank range. So you're quite safe from the enemy's gun batteries, but be aware that rocket batteries will just shoot them out of the sky should they want to. And seeing as you can take quite a few of these escorts, it's quite useful to shoot a small little rocket battery at one of these, because remember, they are only armor 3 and 1 hull point loss will actually kill them. That was the only real change that we saw for the outfitting yards. However, there was quite a massive change in the weapons chart. A new weapon has been added, and we can find it here. It is the Seismic Mortar. It is this sort of mortar weapon that launches shells that fall beneath the sea surface and then cause a blast upwards to target enemy ships. And this weapon is the one that they are now using for the gun battery, the previous gun battery that was molded into some of the earlier generation plastic ship parts. Those have all been changed with seismic mortars. And as weapons go, they're actually reasonably good. I mean, at long range, you have 5 dice as a lead with 3 in support. It's always great to see more dice in support than in lead, especially for these smaller gun battery or turrets, I should say, because well, you tend to have to pull them together to get to a noteworthy number of dice, and it's a bit of an upgrade compared to the gun battery that only gets 5-2, and only when you're shooting in closing range. The weapon itself also doesn't have the gunnery quality, meaning it's way more suited to be doing a fire exchange with the opposing smaller Mass 1 ships. So I think that's going to be an excellent weapon for those. But it is a submerged weapon, so your opponent does get submerged defense against them. Now, like I said, I think the prime targets for these sorts of weapons is going to be engagements with other Mass 1 ships, and they tend not to have that high of a submerged defense value, unless of course they are very bundled together to gain some extra defense that way. But when they do, you're actually playing right into the hands of anything with a cryo generator, so that is always quite dangerous to do to a Russian fleet. So as the weapon goes, I think this is an excellent one. Be wary though, they don't shoot at point blank range, so if your idea is to start advancing with ships like Ruriks, don't get too close or you won't be able to fire them. But other than that, excellent weapon. Then, as far as changes to ships go, it's mostly the ability to take these escort hovercrafts. They come in at 10 points each. That was a bit of a steep price, I thought, compared to, for instance, the Sultanate ORBAT, where it was just 7 points, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a bit of a hefty cost for their escorts. Other than that, Bartushov never changes, so that was quite the same. But they did add a new entry, which is the Moskva heavy battleship. Still a Mass 3 weapon, so it's not like you're getting a dreadnought out of it. And compared to the Borodino at 290 points, this one is a fair bit more expensive. And it's worth checking out what you get for those close to 55 something points. Well, if we compare the two of them, straight up, I can see that you've got a bit more hull points, well, 1 to be exact, because a Borodino only comes with 9, and you also gain an extra point of Citadel, so getting a lot of critical hits against these heavy battleships will be difficult. However, ADV and SDV, I think that is an extra point in air defense value compared to a Borodino battleship. And the big thing, of course, is the weapons loadout. It still gets the 3 heavy gun batteries that you really do want, because you've got the heavy magazines rule, so that's 1 volley right there, and they're all forward facing, so that's great. And then you get 2 of those smaller seismic mortars that we've just mentioned, and that can be handy because in this battle fleet you still have the Ruriks, who now also come with these seismic mortars as escort ships, and I think they can be quite useful with this Moskva heavy battleship, because you can have this one leading the attack and then just having 4 Rurik frigates firing at the same time to clear out some smaller weapons, so I think that's going to combo quite well. However, if it is worth the extra 56 points, that's up to you. I mean, that is a bit steep for what you get in an increase in stats and for 2 seismic mortars. But keeping your flagships alive longer with that extra hull point, that can be a game changer as well, and a game winner. It also comes with an internal fury generator, so you're actually going to be able to do quite a good number of assaults. And don't forget, if you take that combo of this one with 4 escorting Ruriks, you can actually get to a quite nifty attack dice in assault, especially with elite crew as well, re-rolling your blank results. So this is, in my book, a slightly more aggressive version of the Borodino, but yeah, comes with quite a big point increase, and it is inspirational. So if you do decide to upgrade this unit, then all of the other things in its vicinity are going to be more efficient, so you get the extra force multiplier in it as well. All in all, I like it, I really do. The Mosaiski wasn't changed all that much, again, just to give the extra option for hovercrafts, so that's not anything new. And I think they cleaned up the Murmansk and Tobolsk keywords as well. Tobolsk is now effectively a Russian ship, which was changed. Small change, but it was needed because I think they got it wrong the first time around. And then the Anastasia didn't have anything change. It's good to see those ships out as well, and they do look amazing. The Deathbringer was changed. It is now 265 points. This is going to be for a very soon release, not this month, but perhaps the next one. And as you can see, it gets 2 of these additional seismic mortars as well to fire forward or with a 270 degree. They're both aimed at port and starboard, so you can go both routes. I'm not sure if it's as useful as we saw with the heavy battleship earlier, because you can't put Ruriks on this one, because this one has the Black Wolf keyword and you need the Russian keyword in order to attach them for them. Luckily though, you can replace the seismic mortars with gun batteries, so I am guessing that when the Ukrainian fleet drops, or the Black Wolf fleet drops, we're going to see some new plastic gun batteries that are a bit more sleek than perhaps the earlier gen ones. Other than that, there was a small change to mine layer. It has to be 5" from a model, any model really in this case, so yeah, that's the only small little change. We saw some new artwork for what are essentially the new skimming ships for the Russians. I think those are going to be great when they get released. I especially like the wackiness of the big drill on a skimming ship. That just looks ace in my book. Well, when we go and look at the rest of the ships, we've got the Akula Grand Submarine for when the Ukrainian/Black Wolf fleet drops, and it too comes equipped with seismic mortars now in it, and again a small little tweak to the minefields. This one is a completely new entry. This is the Boyar Heavy Frigate, and it's Russian as well, so I don't think it's going to be in that Ukrainian box per se. It is a Mass 1 ship, comes in at a reasonable cost. I mean, it's 27 points per model, and you buy them per 4, so that is a decent amount of points for that one. And what you get for it? Well, you get a Mass 1 ship with a gun battery attached on it and a normal rocket battery, forward firing and 270 degree firing for the gun battery. It does still only come with Citadel 8 though. For a Mass 1 ship that's always tricky, but you do get a nice amount of firepower for your points, so that's always great to see with the heavy frigate. I like this entry, and it's good to see that the Commonwealth is getting a few more Mass 1 ships, because I believe they were one of the factions with the least amount of them so far, so that's great. Now, the Katango Cryo Assault Cruiser. It has had a few changes. So it normally comes with that small little rocket battery in the front. However, this one can be exchanged for either the seismic mortar that we've seen earlier or a gun battery for free. So in other words, you can just change them to have all the same weapons as the main guns that you have, which is great. Kizak was left unchanged, as was the Kutsov. The Morozko was also left unchanged. This one was always able to change out the rocket battery as well, but this one does not get the option to get the seismic mortar. So be wary of what you build exactly, because it's not like every ship can just change that small turret out for anything it wants. The Norlisk came with that molded one on it and is now equipped standard with a seismic mortar. However, you can still exchange it for either a rocket battery or a gun battery for free, so nothing much changes for the Norlisk. If you liked your Norlisk as it was, you can keep your Norlisk as it was. Unfortunately, the big one, and I've mentioned that at the very top of this discussion, that was changed, and I'm just going to go down for this one, is the Cineus Fast Cruiser. Previously, it came with a gun battery that you could change for a rocket battery if you wanted to, and the entry that actually says that you can change it has been scrapped, so you're sort of stuck with that seismic mortar. And at the start of the video I said that the Caspian battle fleet was buffed in a way, because it's now easier to just get extra benefits to your rocket batteries. However, the Cineus can no longer carry small rocket batteries, so that is a nerf to compensate. Keep that in mind. And of course, the Rurik, the one I just skipped, that's the big change. It went up in points. It's now 22 points. It used to be just 20 each. It can still do the escort duty for the Russians. However, the old combo with the Borodino is nerfed because it is now always equipped with that seismic mortar firing in the front position. I don't mind though, because those small ships have to bundle all of their guns together anyway, and seeing as the seismic mortar is able to shoot very well at that long range, I think this is now an excellent hunter for your opponent's Mass 1 ships. So all in all, it gets the thumbs up from me. And just a small little note at the end of the whole thing as well, there was a slight change to the spotter rule. Normally it was within 5 inch of an SRS token, but it has been changed that it is no longer within 5 inch. It has to have one SRS token friendly to this unit in base-to-base contact with it. So it's no longer a bubble thing. You have to specifically launch your SRS token to be hitting that thing. And it's been clarified that special SRS tokens cannot be used to benefit Spotter. So Spotter has received a bit of a nerf in this update, and I expect the other factions to follow suit soon as well. Another note, thanks to a community member as well, which is always great to see, is a big update to the Counts As list. Very good to see a bit of love thrown to older players that they can play along with version 3 more easily with this list. So yeah, those were the big changes. Thanks again for watching the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!